Sometimes it's good to take a trip down old memory lane, just to make sure your brain is still working all right. Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt. In today's video, we're talking about secret goated bourbons of the past. When kids started talking about goats and goated, it really bothered me because I thought that greatest of all time meant that there was one. You couldn't be like, oh, it's a goat, or they're goated. You can't be a goat. You are the goat, or you're not a goat. But turns out, apparently I was wrong, because the term goat has caught on so hard that I'm saying it left and right. I'm like, boom, my friggin' bowel movement goated. I throw 3 strikes in a row in bowling, friggin' goated. Get to the end of a long day without smelling like body odor, friggin' goated. Remember to put my feet up during the day so that my ankles don't swell, goated. So although I know that the whiskeys I'm gonna list today aren't necessarily the goat, and some of you might be upset with the term goated, as I once was, this is just a list of really awesome pours from the past that if you come across today in a bar or at a tasting, or let's say that some silly little sucker like me has to sell his whiskey because he's poor now. Which, by the way, Patreon, keep your eyes open. People be selling some of their stashed whiskey, some of their bunker bourbon. Maybe people are pushing aside to see if they can get a few shekels for them. Maybe a few bucks for their bottles. And if that's the case, and you're sitting on the other side of the fence that's so much greener, and you're like, I'm just loaded with money and I can pick up bottles whenever I'd like, keep your eye out for these sons of bitches, because these sons of bitches are pretty delicious. I had a bottle of this out for purposes to show the camera. I did have a bottle of this around here, but I meant to shoot this video a while back, and it appears as though I drank it. I drank some, but thankfully this bottle isn't hard to spot. But this bottle also extremely difficult to spot. What am I talking about? Russell's Reserve 10-year, the white label, 90 proof. It's serial numbered LLME. If you know, you know. A little birdie told me that somebody at the Wild Turkey Distillery, who may or may not still work there, got a little lazy pants and dumped some older barrels into the batch of Russell's Reserve 10-year. That particular batch tastes way better than the other versions of Russell's Reserve 10-year because it's not 10 years old. A lot of it's older than that. So if you bring your little eye gadget to the store, your little microfying glass, that's not it. Your little magnifying glass, or your little eye thingy like the guy from Monopoly, if you bring that to the stores with you, or if you know some silly sucker who's selling sips of bourbon in bottles, then get yourself a Russell's LLME 10-year. Phenomenal. Since we're talking about Wild Turkey and serial numbers, go ahead and bring your magnifying glass to your friends' houses and inspect all of their rare breeds, because back in like 2018, there was this rare breed with the serial number LLGC, and those rare breeds were better than the rest of the breeds that weren't as rare. Was there some sort of similar problem? Probably. I can't really remember. I bet you David Jennings over at rarebird101.com, I bet you he definitely has the lowdown on the 2018 LLGC. 2 wild turkeys, 2 serial numbers that you should look for if you're seeing somebody selling their supply of saturation. Moving on over to some MGP distillate, Remus Repeal Reserve. The ones that look like this. The ones that look like this. See how this says VI? That stands for 6. It says it right on the neck tag. That's not the one you want. If you ever come across one that just says 5, Remus Repeal 5, friggin' bangtown banger. Oh, it's good. You'll love it. If you love aged MGP, around 100 proof, Remus Repeal Reserve Series 5 will make you feel alive. It's really good. Now let's bring our butts to Bardstown and talk about some older labels from Bardstown Bourbon Company that are absolute bonkers good. When Bardstown Bourbon Company first introduced the Discovery series, they had blends of straight Kentucky bourbons and then blends of older Kentucky distillates blended with older MGP distillates. Discovery Series 1, 2, 3, and 4 are friggin' dynamite. The Discovery Series labels have looked different over the years. 3 and 4 were the first 2 red labels of the Discovery Series. Discovery Series 1 and 2 were green for some reason. So if you happen to see a Discovery Series label and that label is green, then that is something that you need to buy or drink. You need that. Disco 1 through 4, oh my gosh, better than the sum of the rest of them, I would say. And I'm not a doctor, but I do know a thing or two about sums. Sums of bitches. Sticking with Bardstown Bourbon Company, they had some finished releases early on as well, in the same style bottles as the Discovery, the same shape bottles as all their offerings. You may be familiar with Chateau de la Baude. The first one, everyone goes crazy about it. Everyone's all, Chateau de la Baude is so good, they say. There is one super sneaky, under the radar finished bourbon from Bardstown Bourbon Company that is like, oh, change your life good. It is 11-year-old MGP finished in Copper and King's apple brandy barrels for like 18 months or something like that. And it was like 120 proof. Big proof, big finished. It was very subtle. It was MGP with this lengthy finish and those apple brandy casks that came through super subtle, but oh so oily and oh so awesome. If I could get a bottle of that right now, I would drink it for you and show you how much I like it. I would do that specifically for you. I know, you're welcome for even having the thought. Speaking of monster MGP, around that same time, the late 20-teens into the early 2020s, Blom Brothers released something called Old Fangled Nder Bourbon. And it was like 12-year-old MGP, but 12-year-old MGP was different back then. It was so good. It was so wildly good. We're getting into some good MGP now that's around that same age, but back then, ridiculously good. Old Fangled Nder Bourbon. What does that even mean? Well, they didn't distill it, so Blom Brothers named it Nder Bourbon, not our bourbon. We borrowed it, threw an Old Fangled Nder Bourbon sticker on it, and sold that most delicious, delicious bourbon to the masses. And by masses, I mean to the people who were in the know. And I wish I was in the know at the time, because I didn't get into the know until a little bit later. And that sucked. This isn't a bourbon but a rye, but if you ever come across this, Knob Creek cask strength straight rye whiskey, the one barreled in 2010. There was another one that was barreled in 2009, also phenomenal. 127 proof and roughly 10 years old. This bottle of rye will make you my guy as a friend, so I can have some of yours when mine's gone. These, like one of those F-35 jet contraptions that our military is operating, went completely under the radar, or off the radar. Nobody even picked up on it, except for me, because I'm so smart. And other people who are smart too, but Knob Creek cask strength rye, oh my gosh, friggin' goated! Jack Daniel's Tennessee Taster Rye, if you ever come across that bottle, it was their first barrel strength rye, their first barrel proof rye that they put out. That bottle had the same fate as the Russell's 10-year LLME. It sat here for too long and I drank it. I drank the rest of it. So, Tennessee Tasters, Jack Daniel's cask strength rye, barrel proof rye. Hell yeah. Now let's talk about the bourbon that got me hooked on bourbon, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Any Elijah Craig Barrel Proof pre-2021, awesome. The ones in the old pirate bottles, friggin' different level good. But the ones between 2017 and 2020, in those ranges, minimum 12 years old, barrel proof, and the whiskey inside the bottles, pretty friggin' special. The majority of the barrel proof Elijah Craigs from that era had a different style sticker on the front of it before Cody went and messed it up. If you don't know about Cody, he's an imaginary person that I blame everything on. Friggin' Cody. If you see a label that looks like this, a little bit different than the modern label, then guess what? Score, friggin' score! Elijah Craig Barrel Proof goated. Calumet 18 got a lot of respect last year, but Calumet 16, 15, 14, and Sam Houston, 15 and 14, they didn't get no respect put on their names. But I'm telling you right now, this was one of my whiskeys of the year not that long ago. Sam Houston, 15 years, 15-year-old Barton, 103 proof. You can get these bottles still in places for around 130 bucks, which is probably one of the best $130 bottles of bourbon that your little wallet can pay for. So stinking good. Oaky cherry buggers. Oaky cherry goated. Also a few years back, Lucky 7 had the same distillate, the same aged Barton, except for they bottled theirs at cask strength, and you can find them in the Proprietor from Lucky 7, 14 and 15-year-old bottles like this. Amazing aged Barton bourbon, but at cask strength. Lucky 7 Proprietors, 14 and 15, freaking awesome. But I wouldn't be the goat if I didn't tell you to make sure that the cork on them is tight, because the corks on these little buggers were little biatches, and they like to shrink and get a bunch of air in them, and then this wasn't that great. So make sure that the cork is tight if you come across the Proprietor. A few more left on this list. Kentucky Owl Bourbon and Rye. The Bourbons, blended by Dixon Dedman, the great-great-grandson of the founder of the original Kentucky Owl, C.M. Dedman. Dixon blended all the bourbon batches 1 through 10. Then Stoley came in and bought Kentucky Owl, and Dixon left Kentucky Owl, and now Kentucky Owl is just meh. If you find Kentucky Owl bourbons, batches 10 and back, you will taste it and be like, what the heck? That is friggin' great. And the same goes for Kentucky Owl Rye. Dixon blended batches 1 through 4 of Kentucky Owl Rye. 4 came in a tube and it was called The Last Rye. If you find batches 1 through 4 of Kentucky Owl Rye, I promise you, they're worth the buy. If you get them at a reasonable price, of course. Don't go spending thousands of dollars on whiskey and then blame me. And then last but not least, I wish I had these bottles to show you, but I do not. I came across these bottles recently for sale in one of the local groups in Michigan that I'm still a part of, even though I live in Colorado. And when I saw the bottles, I was like, damn, I wish I was friggin' loaded rich, or even like somewhat rich, because I would be buying these bottles and then showing you on camera the bottles. Mayor Pingry, 7-year black label and 13-year blue label are like some of the best bourbons that you can buy. 7-year bourbon, Matt? Really? Yeah, there's a catch. These bottles come out of Valentine Distilling. They're sourced MGP bourbon. The 13-year blue label, I believe, were single barrels. Really good. The black label, 7-year, is a blend. The blender at the time, I believe his name was Justin for Valentine Distilling. He blended this magnificent batch of old MGP bourbon. And then, from what I understand, this is just what I heard at the time, he put a little bitty bit of 7-year in it just so that he could put a 7-year age statement on the bottle to make the flippers not want to buy it. Oh, it's just a 7-year, we're not going to go after that. Oh, joke's on you, friggin' buggers. The majority of it, like 13-year-old MGP bourbon. But just a dash of 7-year, just so that he could put the age statement on it. He was anti-flipping, from what I understand. I never met the man, but I heard he's a good man and a good bowler. Don't know about the bowling part. Anyway, those two bottles, the black label 7-year and the blue label 13-year, are both change your day type of bourbons. They're bourbons that you'll taste and be like, damn, that was right. This is ridiculously good. Mayor Pingry black label 7-year and blue label 13-year. If you have some, send help. And by help, I mean send me some of it, because I love it. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments down below, what are your goated bourbons from the past? What are your goated whiskeys from yesteryear? Let me know. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on not getting yourself into a new hobby that is pretty expensive and very addicting. I didn't think I could get addicted to anything. I thought that my addictions were mostly bowling and eating. Eating's a big one. I started opening trading cards again. Bad idea. I haven't opened them since I was little, since I was a child. Opened them now, and terrible idea. Terrible idea. It's the most addicting thing on the planet. Stay away. If you loved trading cards as a child, do not open them now. If you haven't opened them in years, stay away from them. Do not open them. It will open up a hellgate of addictive ripping where you just go to the store and you're like, I'm just gonna not buy trading cards. And you're like, I just gotta get them. I gotta get them. I gotta get the trading cards. I might have a problem now. And I might need to see somebody. Like the guy at the trading card shop. His name is Jeff.